Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of our playlist Object-Oriented Programming Basic Concepts in C++. So today we will cover mainly two topics which are access specifiers and scope resolution. What is access specifier? Access specifiers control how the members of a class can be accessed. So there are three types of access specifiers in C++, which are private, public, and protected. And by default, it's private. Means if we don't mention any access specifier, then it will be by default private. But as a good practice, we should always mention the access specifier. So here the definitions of private, public, and protected are written. So in private, we cannot access data members and method outside that class, but we can access them within that class. So as we saw in our previous class, that we cannot access these data members outside that class when they are under private region. Now you can see that from the red mark that there is an error in our program. Now if we run the program, then there is an error which is saying that age is private within this context or declared private error. So from the error that it's clear that the error is not private. So why? Because they are private members and we are trying to access them outside that class. So this is invalid in our object-oriented programming. Okay, so if we now simply commenting out and then if we run our program, then we are seeing that proper output. But what's the mechanism here? So, as I said earlier, that we can access data members and method within that class. So, as name and age are private, so we can access them within the class student because these members are declared within the class student. Okay, so we can easily access them within that class using a method which is display. Okay, and this display function is declared in public region so that we can access the method in the main function. So we declare the method in the public region. It's always suggested to declare the data members in the private region and to declare the methods in the public region. Now we will see public. As you can see that we can access data members and methods outside that class and as well as within that class. So we can access the class members from anywhere in the program. And in case of protected, we can access data members and methods within that class and as well as within the derived class, but not from any other classes. So now derived class is a concept in inheritance, and inheritance is not now covered yet. So we will cover the protected concept after some lectures. Okay, so now we will move to the next topic, which is scope resolution. What is scope resolution? Scope resolution is an operator by which we can define our function or method outside that class. So more accurately, we can define function or method of a class outside that class. So if we see an example, it will be clear to you that in the class student we have a method which is display. Now in the public domain, we can only declare the method. Here we can declare the method only, and after declaring the method and declaring the class, after declaring this class, we will write the syntax for our scope resolution. Here I have written the syntax for scope resolution, which is return type void, because here the return type of the method display is void. So void, then class name, which is student, then the operator scope resolution, which is two columns. And we can see that automatically awaiting the function here, which is display, and then argument, because that I have no argument in this function, so we can keep it vacant, or we can keep void here, and then we will get the definition. Now one thing that here we don't need to have any semicolon like class. Okay, so be careful about that thing. We must not add any semicolon after defining the method outside that class. And if we run this program, we are getting the same output here, RAM and 14. So what's the use of this scope resolution? In this program, it's a very small program. So here we have only one method, which is display. But in a complex project, we may have many methods, and defining every methods in the class will be very messy. We cannot see the class structure properly. So to make the program more readable, we can use this scope resolution. But for a small function, small program, we can we can define the function, define that method inside that class. There will be no problem. Now one thing that defining methods outside a class will take more space. Okay, so I think you all enjoyed today's video. We will cover these topics, inline functions and constructor, in the next video. I said in the previous video to cover inline function in this video, but inline function will be covered in the next video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you.